Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him a ratio. Here we go. Right. Good evening, everybody.
Evening.
Howdy.
How are you people?
Not free bad yourselves?
Yeah. Always
Poor
good.
Ian couldn't join us tonight. He's like going over for a spice bowl or spice bag, getting a
It's
spice
never.
bag across the water.
It's never ever the same when Ian's not here, is it?
No, no.
Mind you,
Everything goes well. There's
When
no
Ian's not here,
UFO
that means
talk.
yeah. When Ian's not here, that means I tend to behave. So I don't know.
Hey, we've already got 6 on YouTube.
Oh wow. Well,
Already.
wow.
I'm chuffed with it.
Eileen, hello. Yeah, Eileen. I'm guessing Perry's probably there. I don't know if Tina's there, who's there, but come say hello. Hello, guys. Right. I think we'll start with young Joe today.
Think so?
Yeah.
All
Linda
right.
started
Well,
last week.
I've got a place. Now we're talking haunted theaters, things
Mm-hmm.
like that tonight. So I've got a place that is pretty darn haunted. Not a lot of people know about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's got a history, and it's actually pretty awesome. And I've got personal experiences from there.
Ooh.
So it makes it a little bit better. What we're talking about is the Amargosa Opera House in Death Valley Junction, California. And
Okay. Not heard of this one.
of course, there it is. Okay, my notes just jump behind the screen. So basically, my buddy Tim, who I used to run around with all the time, he and I went to Death Valley for a week, and we
Mm.
spent some time out there and just driving around. Wanted to go see this, wanted to go see that, and I'd never really been to Death Valley before. So we get zipping around and we go to Stovepipe Wells, uh, which is they've got a hotel there, a restaurant, and it's very historical borax mining sites, stuff like that. All these
Mm.
places in Death Valley are mining sites and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, for instance, Stovepipe Wells, we stopped there because we had been a long night of drive, a long day of driving and moving around all over the place and hiking up in a hill and looking at the views and it's kind of cool. So Stovepipe Wells, the hotel rooms were cheap, so we grabbed a hotel room and we went up to the lobby to get some sodas and things like that. And I go, Tim, what do you think? Is this place haunted? And the front desk lady heard us. And she comes over and says, "Oh, we've got ghosts here." And she started telling us all about the ghosts there. So it was really kind of cool. But that's a hotel, not a theater.
Yeah.
So let's go someplace that's both. Amargosa Opera House was basically a hotel, restaurant, hospital, everything all rolled into one for a borax mining operation in Death Valley, right by the Nevada border. It's a neat old place. So in 1967, Marta Beckett, a ballet dancer, artist, etc., out of New York, she and her husband were driving around Death Valley because she was touring. So they're driving around Death Valley, and she runs across this whole building that's kind of falling apart. Nobody's using it for anything. So they have a flat tire, so she starts walking around while her husband's fixing it, and she sees at the end of the building a place that would be perfect to set up a little opera house, playhouse kind of a place. The other side could be a restaurant, and in between they could set it up as a hotel.
Mm.
Very cool. So she buys the place, fixes up the opera house. I've got a picture here if I can find it.
Yeah, if you can find it, I'll check out for you.
I've got a couple of pictures actually of it under the show folder. Um, okay, I've got one. There's a couple of different shots because it's a big place. But here's the end of the building. That's the opera house.
I like that.
And then off to the left, you go down a little bit, and then it's a big U shape sitting out there, probably 2 blocks long. It's huge. But there's
Jesus.
the opera house. Let me put up another one real quick here. Do do do. But she bought the place, and she decided she was going to fix it up and turn it into an opera house, and she did. And she used to dance there, do shows there in the
Her
middle of
name does ring
bloody
a bell.
nowhere. What's that?
Her name does ring a bell. Oh wow,
Yeah.
fantastic! Look at that.
Yeah,
So
I
she
think
did
I
all that
saw her
painting.
on
She
someone's
painted everything
program.
herself. So it was, I mean, she painted everything herself. She did everything in the place herself, got it all set up. And it used to be just a meeting room for the miners and stuff. And she turned it into this theater. I think I have one more picture to kind of give you the idea what the place actually looks
And the
like.
figure on the left of that mural actually looks like how she was dressed in the documentary I saw about it.
Right, right. So, and then there's and then here's basically
Holy
the building.
crap!
See how
Yay!
long that is? Very center of the building there where that little pop-up is.
Yeah.
That's the lobby. And then you continue on down and go a little farther down. Then
Wow.
you got the
Wow.
restaurant there at that end. So it's a huge place.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know it was that big. Jeez, oh.
yeah, it is. It's pretty big, pretty good size. So
I'm saying nothing.
she bought the place, was dancing there, did all that stuff. Sadly, she passed in 2017 in January.
Quite recent then.
Old age. I mean, she was pretty old.
Yeah, she was.
And she supposedly was an absolutely fantastic lady. So, but we were there in August of 2017. So
So I'm
she had
leading
just
off.
passed earlier that year.
I'm leading
So
off.
in this place, we're if you stand in the middle where the lobby is, where that little bump up on the roof is, and go to the right a little bit, there's another entrance. It's probably a little farther down, but that's okay. There's another entrance there. We had parked there because our room was room number 9 down the way, and we had to carry
Okay.
stuff in. So I had a lot of ghost hunting gear, a lot of filming gear, a lot of equipment with us, plus our clothes, etc., etc. So the door was a push button door with a key combination, push button combination, and it didn't work terribly well. So you try and you fight with it. So we decided that I would stand inside, Tim would grab a couple of armloads of stuff and take it to the room, and I'd go outside, grab a couple of armloads, so somebody was there to open the door back and forth. One time while Tim was out there, I'm standing there waiting to open the door for him, and somebody comes up and grabs my hand. A little tiny hand, like maybe a 7-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old comes up and grabs my hand and is holding onto my hand the whole time I'm standing there. So I reach out and without moving my hand, so I lose, I reach out, open up the door to let Tim in. And Tim, he's clairaudient. He went, "Oh, there's somebody here. It's a little boy and his mom." I said, "Cool." So I just start talking to the air and we're talking and stuff. And Tim runs stuff down and we chat. And I couldn't get very much at all anything from them except that it was a kid and the mom. And the kid was just sitting there holding my hand for some reason. Just thought that was awesome.
Nice.
So in this place, I'll tell you more about room number 9 in a second because it's in my list of stuff.
Mhm.
So they supposedly have a mysterious cat that runs the place or that runs around the place. That's a ghost. It used to interrupt Martha's shows, so the cat would sit there and pop in and interrupt the performances. There's a alleged haunting of Tom Willett, who's a partner of Martha's. He's been spied sitting in one of the chairs watching the performances. He's another ghost.
I've done a bit of research today, and it's surprising how many of the stories are that managers and former actors, when a new performance starts or on the last night of a performance, are witnessed sitting in the audience.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Lots and lots and lots of that kind of stuff going on. Let's see, there's Tom Willett. From the Opera House down to the corner and back up probably 6 rooms, that's all unrenovated in there. And at the end of the hallway, in the part that you're staying in, you walk down and there's a huge mirror, probably 4.5 feet wide by 7 feet tall. Huge mirror. And as I'm walking down the hallway there, I always got creeped out by that mirror. But it's just a way to block off the hallway. So there's more behind that mirror. and you could feel it. You could say there's more behind that, but you couldn't get in. You couldn't go see it. So you get a little bit farther back in there, and it was really kind of cool. So you go up and put your hand on the mirror, and you just know that there's more behind it. So they used to call that, the employees and the people that work there call that Spooky Hollow, because there was so many things that happened in that unrenovated section.
Mm.
Ghost sightings, people getting touched, things moving, et cetera, et cetera. I wish I could have gone in there. So that part of the building was once used as dormitory for the miners, the borax miners. And it used to have the hospital and the morgue back there. So there's, they just don't use it for anything right now. But room number 24 of the hotel, guests reported hearing the sounds of a crying child at night when no other children are even staying at the hotel. So they've got that going on. Might be the ghost of a young girl who drowned in the bathtub in 1967. Said to harbor a threat. There's another room said to harbor a threatened, malevolent presence that chills visitors. This room was often called the home of the mining boss, and he was known as that there was a hanging that took place in that room during the borax heydays. Let's see. In room 9, the one that we stayed in, because it's supposedly the most haunted, so we asked for it, of course. Who wouldn't?
Exactly.
So we're in there, and they say that something would hold their legs down while they're sleeping, hold their legs and feet down. They heard the doorknob turning and rattling. Nobody there to do anything. We didn't experience anything there, but it was worth a shot, right?
Yeah, always worth a go. As we said,
was-
the thing is, though, we've said before, you can go to a location that's got like, oh, this is the most haunted building in the world and all that, and get absolutely nothing. And the amount of times I've been to like a location that there's literally no history of hauntings whatsoever, and I've picked up EVPs, I've had things thrown at me, I've been punched, I've been kicked, you name it. So it doesn't mean just because you got nothing there that there wasn't anything there. It just didn't so happen to get anything that time.
Everybody needs a day off. Maybe they had a day off.
Exactly. There are places like up in Jerome, Arizona, which is an old mining town, and it's really haunted. I couldn't get a room at the Jerome Hotel up on the hill. That used to be the hospital. I couldn't get a room there. It was all taken. So height of tourist season, all that kind of stuff. So I stayed in the second most haunted hotel down the hill, and we stayed there. And I said, the most haunted room, I stayed there. Absolutely nothing there. But they said the last people that stayed there got touched, pushed, shoved, all sorts of stuff happening in that room. I didn't get anything. So, yeah. But at the Amargosa Opera House place, people used to smell jasmine. People used to do all sorts of crazy stuff going on. But that was neat. Now, we asked the lady if we could go in and take a tour of the opera house, the front desk lady. She says, I've already been over there 6 times today, and I'm not going to go again. That's it. I'm not going over there again. I said, really? And she said, yeah, every time I go over there, all the lights are on. After I turn them all off, there's doors open, the water in the sink is running, stuff is going on. I shut it all off. The next time I go back over, everything's going again. I said, oh, if you have to go again, please let us know. You know where we are. I mean, there's not a lot to do around here, so we're either in the room or here in the lobby. So, of course, the restaurant was closed too because it's height of summer when we were there. So we had to drive 7 miles over to State Line, and we ate at a really cool casino restaurant hotel place. I had a steak, of course, and Tim had a salmon, I think, but it was really good. But when we came back, the lady says, okay, I'm getting ready to leave. I need to go check the theater. Do you want to?
You feel hungry now.
And we said, yeah, let's go. So we went over there to the theater. All the lights were on, every single one of them. Water was running in the back. She's like, oh, look around while I go shut everything down. She went around, shut everything down. And then she left at 8 o'clock. That was it, She left. There was no front desk person there. There was nothing. We're alone there with another couple down the hallway, and that was all there was to it. We went out and, of course, investigated everything we possibly could at the place. But our brief little time in the theater that we could get was water running. The lights had been turned back on again. Doors all opened up, and that was our haunting there in the thing. And then the little kid holding my hand. But it was a really cool place. If you ever get a chance to get out there,
We've got a couple of comments by Eileen Murray. Edinburgh has several haunted theatres, notably. Hang on, one glasses. Notably, what is now I see more blood. Notably, what is now the Festival Theatre was the Empire. The great Fayette magician died in a fire in 1911.
Yeah.
He's now buried in Piers Hill Cemetery. Longby's dog Beauty, who died a few days earlier, he was a gift from Houdini.
wow.
So
Yeah, during his performance, he did his finale, which was called The Lion's Bride, where he swaps places with a live lion on stage. One of the lamps fell onto the heavily carpeted set, setting the stage on fire. A total of 11 people perished in the blaze, including the great Lafayette himself. And he was later found under a trapdoor in the basement beneath the stage. It's believed that he haunts the theatre to this day, shining his diamond rings in the dark because he was known for his diamond rings. And it's also been reported that a piercing lion's roar can be heard cutting through the stillness when the auditorium is empty.
So I looked in just for shits and giggles, really. The other week I looked into Houdini, and the reason that he didn't believe and why he had such a bee in his bonnet about debunking all mediums is he had been a believer, but he'd gone to mediums and they'd given him messages from his mum, and his mum had called him Harry, and of course Harry wasn't actually even his name.
Yeah.
That wasn't a name that his mum would have called him, so that's why he knew they were fakes. And I just found that absolutely fascinating.
But did he not do like some others did and actually create like a password with his mum before she went? I'm sure there was something like that.
No, I think that was with his wife, wasn't it? I know it was.
Yes,
I
there's
do remember
definitely
something
one
about
with
that.
the wife. Yeah.
I know. I heard something about that on the bit I was watching. He'd done it so that if that word came through,
she would
the
know.
person would know that it was real, and nobody ever said the password.
Yeah.
So, but then again, I've been to spiritualist churches. I haven't been for a long time, especially after Dayton died, and like after me and Dayton's mum split up. I went to spiritualist churches in the hope that I'd get a message. And I'd sit there and you'd have a medium saying to a woman that's clearly in her 80s or 90s, "Oh, I've got a feeling mum and dad are on the other side." I'm sorry, but,
That's why they're free. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody in the SNU that I know and I've ever met. I'm really sorry, but yes, there are a lot of
I'm not
people.
saying all mediums are fake.
Yeah, absolutely.
My nan was
I worked
amazing.
some really good ones.
I happened to have a live reading. I did mention it to you in chat about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I had a live reading by somebody, and there's things that she was telling me that I've never ever made public. That was just between me and my late sister. Things that like she'd said to me before, like last time I'd seen her. There's no way in hell she could have known that. That isn't fake. But
yeah,
we'll broach mediums on another live, I think. I've got a good one here. Actually, I've got 2 possibly good ones. This one. Old Davy 10-inch. Doing Beth. Now, that skull is actually a real skull. I'm going to completely butcher this guy's name, so I wrote it down. Tchaikovsky. He was a pianist for the Theatre Royal, and when he died, he'd left it in his will to be decapitated, for his head to be boiled down to the skull, and for it to be used in the play.
Hmm.
So
And
David,
most of
sorry.
the actors would have been too superstitious to actually use it, though. I
Uh,
would imagine.
in fairness, I won't go into that, but I used to adore David Tennant, but some of the stuff that's been coming out about him and things he's been saying online lately, I'm slowly losing respect for him, unfortunately. But hold on, we had another message. We had another
Perry's Hi
message.
Perry.
There he is. There's Perry, and we've also got. Yes, he did, Eileen. Yeah, he did donate the skull.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little bit. I've only got my ordinary glasses on. I ain't got my reading glasses on, so I am actually struggling to read what people were putting down the side there. Sorry, Eileen. So, but yeah, no, the only reason I found out about that one is we've said about it before. I absolutely adore that TV program QI, and I was sat down, I was bored, I couldn't sleep. There was somebody had put 5 hours worth of QI on YouTube, and I thought, watch that,
Mhm.
that helped me get to sleep. It didn't. I ended up watching the whole 5 hours of it,
Yep.
and that was on there. And I just found it quite interesting. But this one you may or may not know, the Clown
Hmm.
Hotel.
Yep.
You guys
Oh
will
yeah,
probably know it for
been
different
there.
reasons. You'll probably know it for different reasons to me, but what are your thoughts on this Clown Hotel? Because there's so many video footages of supposedly that big clown in the chair and suddenly its arm moves and things. And I'm like, yeah, okay. That's
Well,
literally just gravity.
see, in that picture right there, see that the car that's in the picture, that Blazer, that Bronco, or
Yeah,
the Suburban right there.
yeah,
Right on the other side there is the town cemetery.
Yep.
yes, yeah,
So it's been attributed that the town cemetery is what's causing all the stuff at the Clown Motel. Clown Motel is jam packed full of dolls.
yeah,
I mean, tons of dolls. And the original purpose of dolls was to hold the spirit of loved ones.
yeah.
So here
Hmm.
you are, you've got a whole cemetery full of loved ones and not quite so loved ones over there. And you've got a whole bunch of dolls sitting around. Who knows?
Mhm.
To me, it
Yep.
sounds like a great spot to have
Oh, yeah,
some fun with
I'm not
people
saying
who
it's
stay
not.
at the hotel.
Excuse me, sorry, I'm drank my coke too quick. I'm not saying it's not plausible that a spirit's going to be attacked. Like, there's bound to be the spirits of children within that grave, like bodies of children in that graveyard. Um, but no, there's a video clip out there that a team had gone in, they'd filmed absolutely nothing, and literally as they're packing up and they're moving backwards and forwards with the boxes and putting cameras and down and all that, then suddenly a clown's arm just suddenly drops, and that's one of the most believable paranormal things in the world. That's definitely a haunted clown. To me, it's not. It's literally they're packing stuff
Vibration.
away, and it's the vibration that's made it move. You know, that's but I don't know what your thoughts on it are.
I've seen both good and bad about Klein Motel, and equally not just about the spirits that are connected with the Klein Motel. But
Mm,
I do entirely agree because they are that close to the cemetery. Some of those graves may go back into the 1700s when that was still a strong belief system that you could hold on to the spirit of your kid or your lost partner or whatever
is that
by
what puppets were originally invented for, or
pretty
were
much.
puppets purely for cursing?
No, they're never been for cursing. It's only modern history
Right.
and that's put that slant on. But yeah, because
Message
it's
from
it's like
Eileen.
that
I
joke
don't
you
get
see on
it.
Facebook. I'm going to make myself a voodoo doll of myself and give it a back rub. That's actually the original intention, is to guard and protect someone,
I
whether
might
it's
try that
yourself
myself.
or someone who's passed. So yeah.
Look at the recent, as Eileen's just said, look at the recent rubbish about Annabelle. We did mention about I'm not a Warren fan either. I'm not going to go into that because we'll end up going off this way instead of going this way.
Yeah.
But yeah, that poor, I can't think of the guy's name, but he passed away recently when he was on tour with the Annabelle doll. And straight away, everywhere, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, everything's going, oh, he died because of the Annabelle doll. Go forth and multiply. That's all I can say.
Playing devil's advocate on that one and trying to keep it brief so that we go back to our clown hotel.
Yeah.
If you look at photos that have come up online of the guy since he's been doing that tour, he's looking progressively more and more ill during those photos. So perhaps there was something going on in the background that Joe Public doesn't know about, because we don't need to know everything unless we're related to them.
Exactly. Oh. Look at David Bowie. Nobody knew that he was dying of cancer.
Yeah.
You know?
And Alan Rickman as well.
Alan Rickman, exactly, yeah. You know, and Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
As well.
And
nothing to do, just because they're famous. Private
Maggie
stuff
Smith.
Yeah.
Yes.
Private stuff like that, you know, unless the person wants to say, look, you know, I've got cancer, I'm dying, you know, this is going to be the last film, this is going to be last album, this is going to be last song, whatever. Yeah. It's nothing to do with anybody else.
Exactly.
You know, and I actually think it's really disrespectful that, like, within hours, people are putting out, oh, it's Annabelle that caused him to die. Mm-hmm. You complete and utter arseholes. You know,
and anybody who has the idea to post stuff like that on the socials, think how you would feel if it was your dad, your other half, or your brother that they were talking about.
Exactly. But anyway, sorry.
Think before you do anything. But yes, go back to clowns. Sorry, Joe.
Yeah. You were saying, Linda. Hi, Louisa. Oh, Louisa, just before we carry on, Louisa, I will you're there in case I get it wrong, but I will bring up the situation at the Chroma Theatre that you were telling me about. Louisa was the one that I mentioned about a certain TV program.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just basically encompass it quickly, rather, and if Lou wants to embellish it, then she can. But anyway, yeah, you said about this clown hotel, Linda. Sorry.
Yeah,
I mean,
and you
go ahead, Linda.
I do agree that it's just gone back to the old belief system, and some of the souls that are in there, like, oh, hey, they've brought us dolls. That means we can protect ourselves within the dolls.
Right.
So
I hadn't thought of it that way.
And it's been that belief has been going on for millennia.
Yeah.
I mean, the Chinese had dolls that they thought the spirits would go into way back when they were still the Qin dynasty. So thousands of years.
Have you ever actually done the clown theatre, Joe? That's Arizona, isn't it?
No, it's Nevada.
Oh, it's Nevada, is it? Oh, right.
Tonopah. Yes, I've been through there, and that's why I always thought the Clown Motel is great, and it would have just been a normal old motel until somebody got the idea to turn it into the Clown Motel, which is creepy as it is. You know, throw clowns in, and you got automatic creepiness, and then to have it right next to this big old cemetery. And you go, okay, cool. That just, that just adds to it. So I will never take a clown motel next to a cemetery and say there is no haunting. I wouldn't do that.
I blame Tim Curry for the reason that people of our sort of generation are scared of clowns. So it's Tim Curry's fault.
Beep, beep, Richie.
What's this?
The cemetery is really interesting.
Absolutely.
It really is. It's one of those desert cemeteries where there's no plants. It's just sand and dirt and rocks and tombstones. And it's you know you're in a cemetery when you're walking around there. It's definitely got the feeling.
Yeah. I'll briefly go over because went on to TikTok briefly the other night. Because there was meant to be a meteor shower starting, and I got the day wrong, but I went out there in the hopes to get some astrophotography. And Louisa actually popped on to me live for a little while when she was telling me about it. Vaguely, her late brother, who passed away from cancer, I think she said it was last year, had worked at the Chroma Theatre and a certain TV show that's hosted by a blonde woman and a husband. I'm being careful with my wording here.
Yes.
Basically, they was under the stage, and they were saying, and a certain well-known medium that's no longer with us that we've mentioned and his reason in the past. Said, oh, there's been X, Y, and Z amount of people die under here, and apparently there's only one recorded death at the Chroma Theatre, and that was during a play. They didn't realise something had gone wrong, and the woman accidentally hung, I think it was. Sorry, I've got to put that on.
The one that cannot pronounce the word that's spelled Vigil.
Right.
But anyway, I can't, I've slept since then, so I can't remember all of it. But basically, Louisa, who's actually in the comments, her brother had worked at this theatre, and while they was under the stage, he took his shoes off and deliberately walked across the stage. And this TV show put it out as a ghost walking across the stage while they was underneath the stage, when actually it was one of our viewers' brothers actually walking across the stage at the time. Another room they was in, there was a tapping noise. And they're going, oh, that's the spirit communicating with us. Oh, not this many times, not that many times, extra. And I was getting taps and going, oh, we're being answered. But outside the window is a flagpole with the rope taking the flag up, and it was tapping against the pole in the wind. And also, at the time, the place was being renovated, and one of the scaffold poles had deliberately been loosened, and it was being tapped. And they put that out as paranormal evidence, and then they released the episode. That's vaguely it, isn't it, Louisa?
The scaffold thing alone
Sorry,
dodgy.
Sorry, I made a bit of a mistake on that bit there. Sorry. Ah, yes, yeah. One of the actresses was doing a scene, and the safety rope failed. They thought she was just acting, but she was actually dying in the process during a live performance. So, what's that? And Louisa, yeah, basically, I've got it more or less right from what Louisa said there. So, but yeah. Oh, I think I wrote down some stuff about the London Palladium, Eileen. Right, Linda, have you got any? You said you had some personal ones.
I've got quite a few personal ones, all in the same building.
You wasn't in Chroma at that time by any chance, was you, Linda?
No, I've lived in this area since 1978, and it's a bit rural. For those of you south of the border, it's a lot rural. But for the folk up here, you're quite used to having at least 4 fields between each village, or 5 miles between each village. So there's one cinema. It didn't used to be a theatre. It's always been a cinema. Before it was a cinema, it was just 1 or 2 of the little side alleys that run off the main high street area. And when those houses fell empty, they put the cinema in there. As time has moved on, and we finally got cinema up here. This area,
well, we get electricity next.
Well, actually, a 4-hour drive further north will take you to the last house in the UK to get electricity that didn't get electricity until 1943.
That's your Elgin Cathedral, isn't it?
That's my work. That's where I am tomorrow.
That is an absolutely beautiful building. Never mind all the ghosts and all that. There, I'd love to go there just to look at the building. That looks stunning.
Yeah,
Henry Davis did a great job with the roof on that place, didn't he?
801 years old this year, that building. So, yeah, so we've always been to the same cinema. Now, at this point, we're going all the way back to when the E.T. movie first came out, and it's just come into cinemas.
Wow, that's a way back.
So I'm wee, I'm little, I'm still a kid. And at the point where, spoiler alert, where E.T.'s dying, the entire cinema is in tears. And I'm sitting there feeling a bit weird because everybody else is greeting and I'm nae. So because I wasn't crying, I made the excuse to go to the bathroom and get out the way, and hopefully some people would stop crying while I was in the bathroom. And I'm in the bathroom and I heard the door
Wow,
open.
we've got 9 people watching, guys. Thank you, everyone.
Cool. I heard the main toilet door open, and somebody came into the room wearing stilettos. You know, you can't mistake that metallic click, click, click on ceramic tiles.
It was
And
winding me up earlier when I had mine on.
and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, okay, so I'm obviously not the only one who's not paying that much attention to the movie. And I came out after having done what you do there and went to wash my hands. Now, because I know that room well, I can tell you that her footsteps stopped in front of the sinks
Mm.
because I know that room very well. And I came out to wash my hands, fully expecting to see a lady stood there, and there was nobody there.
Mm.
And being a kid, I got down on my hands and knees and looked under the stalls, and there's no sets of feet in the stalls, and the doors were all unlocked. While I'm doing that, I'm hearing the footsteps walk past my head while I'm looking under the stalls. And I'm like, okay, that's a bit weird. Didn't think anything much of it because by this time in my life I was already experiencing random weirdness. And I thought nothing of it. Then a few years later, well, a good few years later, I was in for the premiere night of Three Men and a Baby.
The one that they keep claiming, even though everyone says it's not,
The
there was a
cardboard
ghost.
cutout, yeah.
Yeah. You
So
can
we were
clearly
in
see
for
it's
the
Pit dancing.
yeah, absolutely. We were in for the premiere of Three Men and a Baby. So this time it's just me and my friends rather than mom and my brother and such.
Mm.
And in the cinema, it's like down at the bottom right hand side below the screen, there was this little purple LED looking clock. As it wouldn't have been LEDs back then, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
And through the movie, at least 7 times, I saw a man walk across that clock. And I thought, well, that's where the gents' toilets is, so that makes sense. Didn't think anything of it.
Mm.
Till the end of the movie and the lights came up. That clock is 4 foot above the top of the fire door frame. So it's actually like about 10 foot up the wall.
Wow.
So it's like, okay, that was weird. What did I see? But again, at this point, I'm not doing investigations. I'm not doing house cleansings. I'm not even doing readings yet at this point in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And then, just because I've just had a wee flashback, we were in. It must have been the week after E.T. because it was The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, I'm showing how old I am with all of this, aren't I?
Youngster.
I think the last time I went to cinema was on the opening night of Grease.
Well, on this, on The Empire Strikes Back, it was in the other cinema that had just been invented. Originally, it was one big room with the ground floor level and then the balcony level up here. Well, in the week that E.T. was on, the balcony was cordoned off, and the week later, when Empire Strikes Back was on and E.T. was still running, the balcony had been turned into a separate theatre. So we're in this new cinema, which used to be the balcony. And you have to go up the stairs from the kiosk bit, and you get to this bit that's like, I suppose it's kind of like a reception room. It looked at the time it looked like it used to be a bar, you know, like when you go to proper theatre and you can go and get drinks during the intermission and stuff. That's what it looked like it used to be. But again, I'm still a kid at this point, and I'm like, yeah, it just looks like a pub, but there's no booze and there's no thingy. But you can still hear the murmur of conversation coming from across the room. Across the room is empty. There's nobody there. And you can hear the hubbub and multiple conversations going on at once. And my mum looks at me and she's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, can you hear that? And she's like, yeah, I can hear it, but your brother can't, so shut up. Okay. That kind of thing happened a lot when I was growing up. So that's random odds and sods. Then, fast forward a good chunk, the premiere night of the Ouija movie. No, I was, I would have been far too little for The Exorcist. I've made that all. Unless you're on about the re-release that was only relatively recent. But no, I didn't go to either of the Exorcist ones. I've got all the books.
I've never been a fan of that film myself. I don't think it's as scary as people claim it is.
I felt the need to buy it because of the hype and the hubbub that was written about it, and all the videos on YouTube about it and all. So I went and I watched it and fully expected to be scared. And
comment from Mylene there about The Exorcist.
Yeah, that's what made me say about it. So it's the opening night of the Ouija movie, and of course the cinema's a lot more expensive. And I thought, no, I'm going to treat myself. This looks like it's a good movie. The adverts are good. And I went in, and we were in the ground floor cinema, which is, of course, the main room from the original when it was all one. So everything's on the flat in this one. We're sitting there, ready to start. Now, because there's a bunch of folk, and because I pick up other people's emotions and stuff, if it's a horror movie, I am not sitting with the crowd. I'm sitting over here where there's nobody else with a pulse, away from the rest of them, so that I'm not reacting to them, I'm reacting to the movie. And about 5 rows ahead of me, there's this young couple, and they're obviously all laughed at because they're all arms round each other sort of thing.
Oh, pass me a bucket.
Yeah. But I mean, I have to credit him on his choice of movie for a date night, though. You know, it's better than all the romantic pish that's going to be.
Oh, please. Oh.
So we're watching the Ouija movie, and I noticed out the corner of my eye this quick movement, like somebody'd run past the end of the aisle. And I looked, and there's this little 6-7-year-old boy peeking round the chair, and he went and disappeared. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun, considering what movie it is. So I'm watching, and there's about 8 kids running round this room while everybody's glued to the Ouija movie. And the wee boy that had waved at me went up to the couple of few rows in front of me. And he's giving it on the guy, and then ducking down behind the chair. And he did this like a couple of seconds before each jump scare.
I'm hoping the bloke could actually feel it as well. That'd be hilarious.
He definitely did, because he reacted, and on the 4th time the kid did it, he stood up, turned round, and glowered at me like I'd done it. And I'm like, hello? Can you see there's 5 rows between us? My arms aren't that low. And it kept going again, and this little kid just kept looking at me and grinning, you know. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, don't do that. He's going to get up and hit me. He did it again, but he did it on the other shoulder, the shoulder that's between him and the girlfriend. And both of them turned round, to see me sitting there desperately trying not to laugh because I can see the kid, and the kid ducks down and the boy stands up and he took one step and went face first into the aisle. They had tied his shoelaces together. Obviously must have been done after I said, don't do that, he's going to come and hit me. So that was my most hilarious one. And then fast forward much, much more recently, the last Michael Myers movie. The manager messaged me, you do costume things, don't you? I'm like, yeah.
Some of them are brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I love your Baron Samedi.
Yeah.
I really do.
I didn't get that many photos of when I did Michael Myers, but I know it was convincing because on the way back home from doing the job, I had 5 different women offer Michael a BJ. So I had to stay in character for the entire walk home, because if they'd known they'd just said that to a woman, I would have been killed. So I went as Michael Myers. Now, I'm not a little
I think
girl.
if it had been Paisley, they wouldn't have been particularly bothered.
So the most annoying bit of the Michael Myers costume was making these disappear. It's painful, girls. If you ever
I had the same problem.
Yeah. If you ever have to play a guy, girls, it's painful when you strap them up to make them disappear. It's painful. But sometimes it's worth it just for the public's reaction. And I've got one of them puppeteers masks where it's just pure black and they can't see you, but you can still see. I put that on with my hair all literally oiled down to go down my neck so it's not sitting out. And then put the Michael mask on. It was quite convincing. I should have actually looked for the photo so you could put it up. But the idea was, it's the premiere night. It's coming up for the run up to actual Halloween. Scare people. Colin, etc. If you can find the photo of me as Michael anywhere on my Facebook, can you send it to Carl?
Yeah. If it comes through, I'll chuck it up.
Yeah. And the idea was, we were in the upstairs cinema for the first night. No, that was the second night. The first night was down in the big cinema where the kids had been running around before. And they have statues at either side of the stage that used to be in like the balcony bar area back in the 70s and 80s. They're now either side of the stage. And I was like, right, okay. And sorry, they're in the second cinema. First cinema I'm in now, it's curtains. So I'm in Michael. I have my big plastic knife. And I'm hiding behind the curtains at the side of the screen. I've been there for a full hour before the customers are let in, just to make sure nobody sees me. I'm stood there. We get all the kiosk adverts out of the way. They start with the trailers. And somebody goes to me. It's Louis Manny. He's about the same height as me, maybe a little bit taller. Totally bald. Glasses, round rim specs. And a little
mustache.
Little mustache. I was trying to think of a particular author that it looked like, but I can't think of his name at the moment. It's the one that did the My Son Jack poem when his son was killed in the war. Kind of looked a bit like him.
I can't think of his bloody name.
Yeah. Kind of looked a bit like him. And I looked at him and he says to me, he says, "You can't be here. This is not for the public."
Kipling.
That's the one, Kipling, yeah. And I just turned around and said, "This is
Weird,
I
because when
know.
you were saying that, I was thinking cakes. So,
Yeah. So I whispers back to him, I'm like, it's okay, I'm working. I'll be gone in a minute or two, don't worry. And he nodded and stepped back. Now, behind me is an empty space, or would be an empty space in the building. It's about 20 foot deep and 40 foot wide, but it's filled to the brim with furniture, old cinema seats, all
mm,
sorts of stuff. I have a space that's 1 foot by 8 inches that I can stand in. That's the
mm,
only space there. The rest of the 5-10 minutes that I was stood in there until the movie actually started, he was pacing up and down. I could see him and hear him. You physically can't do that. There's too much stuff in there.
mm.
But he was pacing up and down until I came out, and then it was really cool because the screen goes black, the credits start. When the screen's black, I come out of the curtains and stand in the middle of the stage holding my plastic knife. So when it comes up with the lighting for
Mm.
the movie title, half the audience
Right.
screamed. I had great fun with that. It's great fun playing a bad guy.
That'd be
And
brilliant.
I was allowed to go and pick on the people who'd been given the staff aggro on the way in, so that was brilliant too. But it was the fact that this guy
And you
had
get
come
offered the
in.
blowjob at the end of the night, so you win-win.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I've never been so scared in my flaming life when that happened.
yeah.
It's like, what?
Well,
And then the others are all joining. It's like, yeah, I think the same. I think the same. And one of them actually had the hand on my chest. And I'm thinking, God, she's going to realize I've got boobs. Oh no, I'm going to get killed. So on the way back home, I was taking all the back alleyways where I was out of sight.
mm.
So then
Well, I've got one for you here.
I
I've got
still
one
haven't
for you that
finished
you
with
both
this
like
one
after
place
this.
though.
Oh, no, no. I'm just saying I've got one that you might like.
Oh, cool, cool. So yeah, so that's the Michael Myers one, and having now seen photographs of the people who ran that place from the 30s to the 60s, he's the manager that was working there in 1952, the one that tapped me on the shoulder.
Oh.
Mm.
Because as soon as I saw the photo, I'm like, that's the dude. And then fast forward a bit more to last year, maybe the year before. I think it was last year. I got a phone call from the local paper. We've got a haunted building that people want, that they want an investigation done, and we're going to cover it for the paper. And I'm like, oh yes, this never happens. Which
Mm.
building is it? It's the cinema, and I'm like, oh, brilliant. It wasn't an investigation; it was an hour and a half walkthrough.
Mm.
Which, when it's now a cinema with 3 screens, that's like 5-10 minutes in each room. But
Mm.
level 2, that had been the balcony during ET times, I was fishing. Now, anybody who speaks to dead folk and sees dead folk knows what I mean when I say I'm fishing.
Mm.
I'm asking out, but doing it in my head so I don't look like a numpty for the press guys to take videos and take. You know, you're
Yeah,
fishing,
man.
you. If they hear you, you will hear them coming back to you.
Mm.
And I'm wandering around, and there's a real horrible smell of BO like halfway up the room on one side, but I can't get a who, a why, or whatever. So I'm just like, right, there's a guy over there with bad BO. It's
Mm.
definitely a guy. You can tell by the smell of the BO whether it's male or female. It's
Yeah.
definitely a guy. There's a feeling of being watched, but I can't tell where from because it's kind of everywhere.
Mm.
Then one of the kids from downstairs peeped into the bottom of the stairwell where I could just see him. And I'm like, I see you. I'm coming down there shortly. And he ran off. And I turned around and I'm looking towards the back of the room where there's a fire door. And I says to him, I says, I've always been pulled to that fire door. Can we go and have a look? Yeah, sure. We got halfway up there. This lady pops up in front of me, literally 2 feet in front of me. The clothing she's wearing is 1600s, 1700s fishwife kind of deal
Mm.
with the multi shawls and And she's a guy, all wifey. She's a right old lady. And she's doing this. And I'm like, what? What's wrong? Get off my steps. And I'm like, what? We're in a get off my steps. That's private property. Get off my steps. What do you mean get off my steps? This is the way into my house and you're nae coming in because I didn't came front yard. Get off my steps.
Mm.
So I went back down the few steps away from the fire door. And the press are like, what's going on? So I relayed the whole thing to them and they're like, that's a bit weird. Go up the stairs again. So I went up the stairs again and they're taking photos and it's like there's little twinkles that I'm seeing with my eyes in the flash, but nothing's coming up on the film. But they were seeing it with their eyes. I'm like, yeah, because she's shaking her skirts at me and telling me to get the hell away from her. And they're like, well, we can see there's a disturbance in the air, but that's about it. And then we went into one of the behind the scenes bits that
You sure that ain't Joe's ex-wife?
Could have been. Could have been.
we went into a behind the scenes bit, which used to be a staff room like decades ago, but isn't anymore because it's literally about the size of your average toilet. Hey, Stefan, guten Abend. And we're in the staff room. As soon as I walked in the door, I says to him, I says, there's a lady crying in the toilet. And he's like, there's no toilet up here. And I'm like, oh, there is. It's through that door. And we went through and he's like, no, see, it's just storage. I'm like, why is there a sink? And he's like, oh, good point. He says, there's never been a toilet there as long as I've been here, and I've been here 27 years. I'm like, yeah, but this lassie's sitting on the toilet greeting. Greeting is localese for crying. Sorry. But yeah. So
Actually, Linda mentioning that, that's the one that I was going to bring up after you'd said this. I've changed my mind. I'm going to bring up another one because you said about the crying, just reminded me of a different one.
yeah.
But yeah, sorry, go on.
So we came out of the bit that was the toilet, now the storage cupboard, and into the tiny little room that it's attached to. And I'm like, there's folk in here shouting and screaming at each other. Mega argument. I says, I can't actually hear what's being said or if it's male, female, or just females or just males. But it's like we've walked in just after an argument's finished. And it's really, really bad. And they turned the cameras off and everything. The manager says to me, he says, we've got two staff that for the first 5 years I was here really didn't get on. And any time there was argy-bargy, we used to send them up to this room because it's soundproofed away from the rest of the building so they could shout and bawl and carry on
That sounds
until
almost
they
like Stone
solved the
Tape.
problem.
That sounds
Yes,
almost like Stone Tape.
I think it was.
That's
Because
interesting.
it was always the room for staff to go and rant at each other to get it out their system so they could finish the shift without killing each other. So random odds and sods like that. And we went on to stories from the manager himself for the press. And literally the week before I went in,
I'll give up with that.
he was the only one in the building and he had been sorting out stuff for the kiosk and the office ready for opening. And he was coming back from the office back into the kiosk and the lids for the hot drink cups weren't where they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be on the counter at this end, but they were actually 9 feet away on the floor in front of the microwave, but they were in 3 very neat, very even little stacks. So they hadn't like fallen off and rolled. They were stacked in 3 stacks. And another day, he was up on the balcony level a bit that looks like it used to be a bar back in the day, but now it's Cinema 2 and Cinema 3. And he was going to go and get something out the cleaner's cupboard, and he saw a 6'4" black shadow walk out of the gents' toilets without opening the door. It walked through the door, came part way towards him, then turned off, and he immediately ran back downstairs to get another member of staff because he's used to hearing stories but not used to actually seeing stuff for
Experience.
himself.
Yeah.
And then a couple of days after that, in the exact same place, because where the gents' toilet is, the cleaning cupboard's next door to it, he was opening the cleaning cupboard just ready to give everything a final clean down before opening for the day.
Mm.
And as he says, right in his ear over his right shoulder, a man said, "Are you ready?" And because he'd been psyching himself up about this, he stopped what he was doing and turned around and went, "Yes, I'm ready, and I'm hoping it's going to be a busy day." And nothing else happened after that. And I says to him, I says, "Yeah, because you've psyched yourself up so that you were able to say that shows them that you're actually paying attention to them as well." And because they're probably in places like that, most of the ghosties tend to be staff of
Yeah.
some level or another. And
Yeah.
you're showing the previous staff that you're doing just as good a job as they did back in their day.
Yeah.
So
I will quickly just say, as you walked off, then Joe, was you talking to your son?
No.
Oh, I'm going to check that back then because literally as Joe walked off, there was a male talking.
Ah.
Yeah, I didn't say anything.
Well, there's only me here tonight. Madam's off playing, and she definitely doesn't have a male voice.
No, there was
Yeah,
it might be just me, but I'm sure just literally as Joe left camera view, I heard a male. I think I heard a male voice. I'm not sure how far in we are, but about an hour in.
probably somebody saying that's unprofessional leaving the camera like that. We are doing theater.
But no, the one I was going to bring up was this one,
Ooh.
Lyceum.
the Lyceum. I was going to do a different one, but it's only because Linda mentioned about the lady sat on the bog having a shit crying or whatever it was she was doing. I don't know, but
She was greeting.
it was clearly painful
Greeting.
for her. Yeah. No, I was gonna do the Theatre Royal Haymarket, but you mentioned about the noise of somebody crying. That brought this one up. Allegedly, there is two here at the Lyceum. I'm going to bring that back up again. Where did I put it? There is. Let me just bring it up. That is a lovely. I can't remember the last time. I think I've only ever been there once. But there's two there apparently. One is a monk, a guy dressed in the old habit and the hood and usual sort of thing.
Mhm.
That is seen pacing around, and the other is a ballet dancer.
Interesting, Stefan. Yeah.
I'll bring that up in a second for
Yeah.
everyone to say.
Don't worry. Sorry.
Allegedly, the ballet dancer is regularly seen in costume on the stage, but mostly in one of the dressing rooms in costume. As I said, she's got a very sorrowful face on, and she's often heard to be weeping.
No.
And apparently, you can often hear her footsteps, and like as she's doing the dance movements as well, allegedly. So there we go.
Hmm.
Stefan's put, we visited an open air theatre 2 weeks ago, just 10 minutes for where I live. I really, can somebody else, because I've not got my right glasses on, unfortunately. I'm
Right.
struggling
They
to read it.
visited an open air theatre 2 weeks ago, just 10 minutes away from where he lives now. Not 10 minutes there when they heard people marching past them. They followed them with their dowsing rods and they just went around them. Research later showed it was built in the mid-30s by the Nazis for their propaganda shows. It was a very strange atmosphere there. Stefan's an investigator who used to live up here near me, but he's moved back into Europe now.
That's interesting. So the other one I was going to bring up was the Haymarket. Apparently, in 1879, John Buckstone. He was a comedian and a manager there. He died, I believe they said it was a heart attack he died of. And since then, there's been unexplained footsteps, an apparition of a very tall male standing by the side of the stage in Victorian clothing with a look of confusion on his face.
Oh.
So, but there's got to be a few in France that you know of, Joe.
There are in Paris for certain, and Cannes, a couple of places. I didn't really look up a lot in France here when I started doing some research for all this, because there's so many back home that I visited, back in the States. So I did mostly those.
The amount of years you've been investigating, there must have been a hell of a load that you've come across.
There have been quite a few. One of them I've got that's very famous is the Birdcage Theater in Tombstone in Arizona.
That's the one. I was sitting here thinking there's a famous one in America, but I couldn't remember the name of it.
And I instantly have Robin Williams in the drag costume in my head from the Birdcage movie.
Yeah, that's the one. But yeah, the Birdcage in Tombstone has been there for quite a while, since the mid to late 1800s. It was a casino, a bar, a theater, and a brothel all rolled into one.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty fancy place. Gunfights took place there. Curly Bill Brocious was killed right outside of there.
If there's a whorehouse, there's more than any sort of shooting.
There's a lot of stuff that happened at the Birdcage, and you walk into the place and you can feel everything that's happened all around you. It feels like you're being looked at. It feels like you're being watched. You're being followed as you go on the tour through the place. I never got a chance to really investigate, but I have been there a few times, just walking around, doing the tour. And me, when I do a tour, I'm always at the very back of the tour, so I can stay in the last room that we were in, and stay there until they get really angry with me. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just getting the vibe. So you should have seen me in the underground in Edinburgh. We're going through all those rooms, and I'm just standing there.
Yeah.
It is great. I loved every minute of that. But the Tombstone, the Birdcage in Tombstone, you're walking around and you stay in there as long as you possibly can, and then move on to the next place and move on to the next place. But the stories and everything, but you're definitely being followed and watched the whole time you're there. How about the Ford Theater in Washington, D.C.?
That's
where Lincoln was shot.
Oh, funny enough, you saying that. I was watching a thing. There was a little tiny clip. There was an old gentleman in his, I think he was 93, that claims that when he was a child, he was actually in the theatre when he was shot. Lincoln was shot.
Oh.
Wasn't that on Groucho Marx?
No. I don't know about the Groucho Marx, but I can't remember, because I watched so many bloody different things. Like, I'll be watching something and then I'll fall asleep. And then if I'm asleep for 3 hours, the program's finished and like half a dozen other things have gone on, so I won't be able to find it. But yeah, there was an old gentleman.
I found a picture of me as Michael. I've just put it in the messenger. I find the photo of me as Michael. I've just put it in the messenger.
Right, I'll have to bring up my face.
But Groucho Marx used to have a TV show when he used to talk to people and say,
that was it. Yes.
You did something, or you were someplace famous, or something happened to you. And that man happened to be in the Ford Theater when Lincoln got shot. And he was very old at the time.
actually thinking about it, yeah, he was 93, and he claims that he's 5 or 6, I think he was,
Right.
and his parents had taken him to the theatre, and he was in one of the boxes directly opposite Lincoln when he got shot.
Right.
There's a lot of debate with how true it was because his age quite possibly had dementia, but yeah. So what a ghost is there then? Lincoln's got to have been seen, surely.
Well, they say that the Lincoln's ghost is there. There's other ghosts there as well. I had read someplace that the ghost of John Wilkes Booth was there, and some of the other conspirators who rallied around to get this killing of Lincoln done. So, but I mean, there was a lot of tension and a lot of stuff going on in that theater that night. So, Stone Tape once again.
Quite possibly,
A lot of emotion, a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
yeah. Stefan's made a really good point there.
Yep.
Yeah,
Stefan,
that's right.
I don't know if that's coming up on your screen, but he's made a really good point there. But yeah, there's like Heath Ledger, what's that idiot's name? Christian Bale. When they get into a role, they are that role. Heath Ledger was the Joker.
And
So
as a
what Stephen said is quite plausible.
as a costume tour guide, the whole reason I was a costume tour guide was because I was too nervous to do it as me. So
I
I did the
absolutely love that.
costumes and the grease paint to play the characters. So
I did a lot of theater when I was a kid. A lot of
you
theater.
totally
Junior high,
lose yourself,
high
and it's
school.
just a way of bypassing the nerves and everything.
Yeah. Well, because then whether it be on stage or in a film or whatever, if in like as a role, me myself, I'm quite introverted. I'm normally pretty quiet. It's only when I do things like this, and then somebody says something, I
You
think,
can't
oh yeah,
get
I
to shut
remember
up.
that. I'll talk. I can sit here for days, literally not talking. But when I'm like on here, I'm not Carl. I'm like somebody completely different. So,
Yeah.
like Stephen said, that's true. They do put themselves 200% into the role, and could it be a case of, well, I played this role on X, Y, and Z amount of years ago. You're doing that role. I'm sitting here like this. Okay, go on, do your best. See if you can actually beat what I did.
Yeah.
You know, because people put their heart and soul into a role. Look at what Christian Bale done for The Machinist. He nearly
Oh
killed
yeah.
himself losing all that weight. I know by all accounts he's a complete a-hole in real life, but he virtually killed himself for that role. So
Yeah.
if the film comes out in the future and he says, "Oh, right, they're going to remake that film," well, I wonder what they're going to do with it. Is it like a curiosity thing?
Yeah.
Could a actor be just basically curious?
I'm sure there's a couple of bits along that lines in some American old theatres where like such and such played this role, and whenever they do that play, they are seen in the wings either smiling or frowning depending how the actor is doing the role that he played.
Right.
I can't remember where it is, but I'm sure I've seen that for one of the. I want to say it's somewhere dry and dusty, but that narrows it down to what, 40% of the US.
Yeah, there's the Charlie Chaplin Studios was built in 1917, I think. And while Charlie Chaplin was alive, he used to do films there and all this kind of stuff. And later on, it was bought by Jim Henson and Kermit the Frog fame and all that.
Yeah.
So they did a lot of Henson stuff there, the development of the Muppets and all of this. There's a lot of stories going on there about different time layers of actors and people working there all over that place.
Funny you saying Charlie Chaplin. His grandson actually does a podcast on YouTube. So he often talks about Charlie Chaplin.
One of his holiday homes is 20 miles that way.
Oh, nice.
It's now
That
a
is exactly
hotel,
true,
and it's
Stefan.
super posh.
That's a good point. What Stefan's just made there.
That's absolutely true.
That's a very good point.
Robert Englund. That's why he gave up Freddie.
Right.
Because he
Yeah.
found himself developing similar psychoses to what the character was. And that's why he quit Freddie.
Yeah. Which is probably a good thing to quit. Eileen's got a good one right above where Stefan's got his.
Could well be as well, yeah, Eileen.
Possibly. Very possibly. But with what Stefan said there, where is it? So it and all the emotions may still linger. That does it. That is basically
That's
Stone
tape and all sorts of different stuff. The emotions
Even
in
if
the
you
place.
take it out of the realms of famous folk and bring it down to your kids doing the school play, look at the
Uh-huh.
nerves, the anxiety, the hyperactiveness when it's done. And a lot of these theatres will have been used for school things and learning things, and then right the way up to the celebrity level. So you've got all that massive emotions being absorbed into these buildings.
At our high school, where I did the majority of my plays, I did some in the community in Colorado and all sorts of different places and stuff. But where I did the majority was up in Kenai, Alaska, and we did. Oh God, junior high and high school, we did a bunch of different plays. I played Petruchio in Taming of the Shrew and things like that. We did all these massive plays,
Yeah.
Tons of them, and that's all very true. But we were in this little tiny auditorium, probably 100 seats maybe, and they were all the little plastic chairs that you'd set up so
Yeah.
everybody could sit in rows. And the theater, the stage,
To be honest with
was
you, I
there.
think I'd rather one of them little plastic chairs than this wooden one I've been sat on for the last hour. It's really uncomfortable.
But it was really good. But we didn't have any deaths or anything that I know of in there and things. But the emotion was still there. The
Yep.
emotion was always in that room. It was always something there to go with. And yeah, it was awesome, that place. But I used to do the sound. I used to do the lighting setups and get everything ready for if I was on stage. I'd help with everything and then do my stage stuff. Or if I wasn't in the play, I would go up and be the sound guy and splice all the sounds, the sound effects, run all the lighting, and get everything ready with all the switches, and off you go. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
another
the
good
audience
point.
too, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's very much with the cinemas as well. It's the audience that's generated any left behind energy. And of course,
Right.
the odd staff member that gets freaked out.
Yeah. Especially if the actor's really, really good. Like, for instance, we had him a little while ago, David Tennant doing Macbeth. But I don't know if you watched. Did you watch? Oh, what's it called? Jessica Jones. David Tennant played Kilgrave in that. And my
Mhm.
God, he was terrifying. Now, if that had been a stage thing, you'd have had the people booing him and all that. Yeah,
I
good
saw
job.
I saw a snippet of the one he did where he was being the serial killer, and even the advert was my skin was trying to leave the room without me.
David Tennant, you know,
Very good
I
actor.
won't
He
go
is
into
very
it, but
good.
all of the stuff he's been coming out with at the moment, at the end of the day, it's his family, that's down to him, sort of thing. But he is a phenomenal actor. He really is. Is it
Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly. Sorry, I just felt the need to do that.
Funny enough, I wasn't going to actually wear my Doctor Who t-shirt, my Glow Doctor Who t-shirt today, but I changed my mind. So, Joe, you got any others?
I did. Just got to remember what they were. I had a whole bunch of them up on sticky notes on my screen. Not the real ones, but the electronic sticky notes.
Mhm.
Had
Yeah.
all of those, and then I rebooted, and you're not supposed to lose sticky notes, but 3 of them were gone.
No, a minute, stay up.
They're supposed
Well,
to stay here, but the other ones, like Amargosa, stayed, and so did Birdcage.
while Joe's doing that now, we'll quickly go through this one. This one is the Adelphi in London. Story is December 16th, 1897, so a few years ago. Actor William Terrace, as he came walking out the door, the main door, was stabbed to death by another actor called Richard Prince.
Oh, jeez.
Um, I don't know. I'm not sure. Some say it was arguing over who got the lead role and the way it all goes on these sort of things.
Yeah,
Uh,
Eileen, I know somebody that was hit on by him just but not long before he was caught. Sorry.
uh, yeah. Well, apparently Billy Piper walked in on one of his in his changing room one time, and you don't call him David Tennant, she calls him David Tennant now. So, but back to this guy, William Terry says he come walking out the theatre after a show. Another actor, Richard Price, Richard Prince, stabbed him to death. Staff have claimed to have heard and seen a man dressed in Victorian clothing who appears very confused with bloodstains in his chest, standing by the door where he died.
Hmm.
So, and that's the Adelphi Theatre in
I hope
London.
he's not confined to just reliving that.
I can't see he would have moved on if it is that. It's
I
more
would
like
hope so.
residual.
I would hope it's just a wee bit of stone tape and not him actually being stuck there, because that's a horrible day to relive.
Surely though the spirit would have moved on. You know, it would only be a stone, like a
Yeah.
residual. It wouldn't be.
Yeah,
Surely after
it's
what
just going to be the stone tape, some kind of residual.
after surely 125 years, he would have realised that he'd passed. Surely,
Yeah. Or maybe somebody came to get him.
possibly.
So, sorry, that was just me being a soft touch again.
Oh,
A lot of people think trauma can trap spirit when they're still dealing with it, if they're still dealing with it when they've passed. This is one of the reasons I say to
There's
my
one
friends
theory.
that have a pulse, yeah, you're going through trauma, try and deal with it as quickly as you can, because if you take it with you, you're going to be hanging around and you're going to need somebody like Joe or myself to come and help you find your
Yes,
way
I know
back
you
to
moaned.
where you should
Yes,
be.
I know you moaned at me not last week, the week before about it. And
Yeah. Yeah,
have you found it,
it's
Joe?
one of those things. I mean, I don't believe the whole unfinished business. I
No.
do think it's more trauma, heartbreak, depression, things like that. You get yourself stuck because just like when you still have a pulse, you're stuck in your own head.
Hmm. Have you found the one she was looking for, Joe?
I found one of them.
Oh, go on. Chuck up
It was
then.
the Pantages Theater in
Mm.
Hollywood, in Los Angeles.
Okay.
I went to a play there, but I was still trying to, or a show there, and I'm still trying to remember what show it was. I've been to a lot of them around. Um, I've got an old picture of the Pantages here. Let me pop it in the little
Yep, that's what I'm waiting for.
thingamajigger here. It's an old picture. Of course, there's newer ones and things, but I like this one. But lots and
Ooh.
lots of ghosts are here. They say,
I would actually love to get that printed out and put on my wall. That's a lovely photo.
isn't that a neat? It's a neat one, isn't it?
That's amazing.
When proper theaters existed.
Right, right, and the Pantages as well as the Chinese theater there,
Yes.
where they got all the
Yeah.
handprints and stuff. That's really
Yeah.
cool. But they say the ghost of Howard Hughes can be seen here.
Oh, nice.
Of course, Alexander Pantages himself, the one who built the theater, has been seen there. Lots of actors, actresses, guests that were there at the theater. There's some of the staff have been there all as well, are still there. Painter, an electrician, backstage hands. They see these people still doing their jobs, even if there's no show going on, which is
Mm.
really kind of cool. But Pantages is a really good one. I hear the Grumman. It's not Grumman anymore, but it used to be the Grumman, the Chinese theater. Um, I hear that's very, very haunted. I've never been inside there. I've just been out front where they've got all the handprints and everybody's signatures and stuff. Been there, but I've never been inside the theater itself.
Mm.
Awesome place though.
Yes,
I think
Stefan's made another really good point there.
Yeah.
There's kind of I've just literally just remembered one when I had where did I put that image? There it is. When I was in a team, we won't go into that. But yeah, I'm not going there. But
That's
before
why
I
I've
went,
always done it solo for investigations.
to be honest with you, most of the it was last week. It was actually 41 years for me. So, but when I was with the previous person doing um, investigations, we got called into a pub in Ipswich.
which I'd love to go. Actually, right now, a pub in Ipswich would be great. Get a nice pint of Guinness. Talk about ghosts.
Um, the pub is fairly well known. Ed Sheeran's has drunk there quite a few times. Lead singer of Cradle Filth, Danny Filth, used to be a regular there. He used to drink until he quit drinking. He used to drink down there regularly. When we went there, my teammate and the manager's husband were at one end. I was standing up near the door. It was about 20 past 12 at night. We was only going to be there for an hour or maybe 2 hours at the most. We ended up there until 20 past 5 in the morning because it was just so active. I have got the video footage. They've got a row of, I think it's 8 beer glasses, and there's only one that it will move on its own. We checked for drafts and everything. Nothing. Thought, okay, is it they've rigged the glass? You've got to check all these things just in case.
Yeah.
So we took the glass off and we got it swapped for another glass, and we put this glass on a different hook, and it still moved on a different hook. So potentially, she said she had been told that glass had been a favourite glass of somebody that had previously been there. She didn't know the details because they
He was
hadn't been
obviously wanting them to refill it again for them.
Yeah. They hadn't been managers there for that long. There's a chair that was near the door, a big leather chair, like an old reading chair, like you'd see like in old films. And as I was standing there, I can't remember, I put a toy or something on there because there's a little spirit of a little girl that runs about in there. And no word of a lie, I literally saw a hand come down on the right arm of it, as if someone went, right, that's it, I've had enough, I'm off home, like that, as if they were pushing themselves up. And I'm like, Jesus, that was, it didn't scare me or anything, but it's like, wow. And then as I turned round, I can't remember the woman's name now. Without going into my messages, I can't remember the woman's name. But as I turned round to her to tell her what I just saw, at the door going into the staff area and like the upstairs, there was a man standing there. But right, it's this one here. I'll quickly before I do Joe's one. This is just hold on, no, tell a lie. I'll do Joe's one first because I've actually downloaded the wrong picture.
This is just a picture of the Grumman Chinese Theater. What used to be Grumman, now it's got some other name. I don't know what it's called anymore.
Yeah, that place is amazing. You always see it when the premieres are on and stuff.
Exactly, and I've got a picture of the inside here too. Just let me grab it real quick. There it is.
I can't find a picture of the actual plate, the actual theatre, but I've got a picture of the street that it's on anyway. So this will do.
There's the inside of the Grumman. But it's a more modern name now.
Wow.
Wow.
It's kind of neat, isn't it?
That ceiling.
That is
Jeez.
that is
I think I'd
phenomenal.
have to go in 3 hours before the movie and just lay on the floor and look at the ceiling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that is phenomenal, isn't it? Look at that.
That was built during the days when they built things cool.
I
You
bet
know,
with the right lighting for like horror movies, that would be actually terrifying, that ceiling, if you
Oh,
had the,
oh,
if money wasn't an option and you could do all the proper lighting and that.
oh yeah.
what's this? Stefan said there's a movie theatre in Cologne that was hit by a bomb in World War II when it was fully packed. A few dozen deaths. Was built after the war. Supposed to be really haunted. He needs to visit it sometime. That sounds like a hell of an investigation.
Let's plan a trip to Cologne.
How far is that from you, Joe?
Oh, probably what, a 10-hour train ride?
Wow. Oh yes, yeah, definitely Phantom. Only have Phantom there if it's Tarja singing it. Oh, I'd die a happy man then if it was Tarja singing it. No, the one I was going to show you, I can't find the actual picture of the theatre,
I
but
take it we skipped phantom types there, and that's the music of the night.
this is the road. The actual theatre's on the other side of this road. For some reason, you put it in, and it's I don't know why. But this is Silent Street in Ipswich, where that post box is there. That's where the old up that road was where the job centre was. Now, the previous, as I said, team member, he who shall not be named, because that's all good to him. Hope he's doing fine, whatever. But these people that were run the pub, they had friends that run the theatre, and was trying to sort out about getting an investigation there. But the people running the theatre were a little bit slow, and unfortunately, things went wrong. But in 1937, Shirley Temple stayed in Ipswich for a little while, and she was in a play there. And apparently, allegedly, she's been seen.
Mm-hmm.
So, little Shirley Temple. How?
In her little version, not the older version?
No, little version.
Okay.
So, therefore, it'd be some sort of residual. Surely, it was either that she had a really bad experience there, or she had a really wonderful experience there, and something's
Yeah.
imprinted. I have not for a long, long time, but I have briefly looked up history of that place, and it doesn't really say. I think it's like about 3 or 4 lines, just basically saying Shirley Temple done a play here. It doesn't
Yeah.
really say of her experiences or anything. Um, Also, not just round the corner from there, Charles Dickens lived in a house there for 3 years.
Nice.
So
I bet he's got the blue dot on it on the building. The little blue
yeah,
round sign. Yeah.
I think there is. In fairness, Ipswich itself, I've not been into Ipswich town for about 6 years now. So, but in Bleak House, where the character, actually, I'll see if I've got a picture of the road. 2 seconds, I think I've got it. Ipswich. Ow. Well, no, it hasn't. We've got the actual. No, I can't find it. They have got pictures of the road, but not very good ones, unfortunately. I'll just want to do for now. So, but where is it? I'm starting to get the hang of using all this now. So,
There's a Charles Dickens house picture I just put up. If you're
right
interested.
there we go.
See? There's your little blue dot right there. Little blue
Mm-hmm.
sign.
Yeah, that is in Ipswich, is it?
Yeah, that's his house in Ipswich.
What road's that on?
Oh, now you ask me all sorts of crazy questions.
Oh,
Um, well, I'm looking at pictures right now. Let me go to all.
that's
It's for rent right now, where it says it there.
But Admiral Lord Nelson had a house in Ipswich as well.
Great White Horse Hotel.
Oh yeah, that's right. I know exactly where that is. Yeah, yeah, I do. I know exactly. Yeah, I've remembered where that is. Right. Where is it? Here we go. Found it. Oh, it's not letting me. Oh, it's not letting me upload any more pictures. I've reached my limit of pictures, unfortunately. What's that one? Oh, that's Cloud Nose. Now I've reached my limit of. Ah, hold on, no, I fixed it. Only a tiny glitch this week for a change. All right. Ah, here we go. Right. This is Rope Walk in Ipswich. Literally, it's not actually far from where the house is, actually. Um, in the story Bleak House, I can't remember
Nice
the name.
city gate there.
Sorry?
Nice city gate there.
Yeah, I noticed that. That's pretty cool. Down in the
Mm,
end.
yeah. Um, but in Bleak House, I can't remember the name of the character, but one of the characters dies of spontaneous human combustion.
Hmm.
Can you find out that your computer's quicker than mine, Joe? Can you find out the name of the character for me? It's a male character, if I remember rightly. It's been a long time since I've read Bleak House, so. I think it begins with a H, if I remember rightly.
Just a second here. I've got it. Mr. Crook says here, first introduced to setting the rag and bottle shop, continental, crackle, discolored, and dog-eared, dusty, everything.
No, no.
Crook is not only closely linked with the death. Well, now I just passed it. All it does is talk about Crook.
I can't remember the name of the flipping character. Oh, it is Crook that dies. Yeah, it is Crook. I had the name, I had the initial wrong. But anyway, yeah, that said, this is Rope Walk. Now, Rope Walk is where he got the story of the spontaneous human combustion from.
Hmm.
Oh.
There was a washerwoman, I believe she was, and this was from 39 years before he was born, before Charles Dickens was born. A washerwoman was found there that had died of spontaneous human combustion. So,
Probably partly to do with the habits most folk would have had back then, as in smoking a pipe, and the
probably,
chemicals involved in the early version of running a laundrette
possibly, yeah. But
would
yeah,
be the first thing that would come to my mind. Sorry.
most likely, yeah. Also, Admiral Lord Nelson had a house there that he'd bought his mistress. And towards the end of his life, his mistress, and his wife lived in the same house, which is a little bit of a menage a
Nice
trois situation.
relationship.
Yeah,
I
menage a
suppose
trois
if
back
all
then.
three of them are happy, so be it.
Yeah, the house, as far as I know, is no longer there. I think it's, if I remember rightly, the actual Admiral Lord Nelson pub's on the site where it was. But no, it's like the fact that Dickens and Shirley Temple had been in Ipswich and there's supposed sightings of them. So I thought that kind of had. I don't know, did any of Dickens' plays go onto the boards? I'm not a really theatre type of person, so I
Well,
don't even watch
Christmas
film.
Carol has been done in theatres before.
Oh, it has, right? Because I know Christmas
Because that
Carol.
they used to do the thing where you project the ghost through a pane of glass and angled the
Yeah,
right way.
Mhm.
yeah.
I think it was one of the versions of that they actually came up with the idea on how to do that because they wanted to have real ghosts in the play,
Mm.
and that was one of the inventions that came out of it.
And now it's just done with 3D projectors.
Mm-hmm.
The one a while back with Freddie Mercury and Brian May on stage. That was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
So it really was.
I've
So,
seen the recorded version of War of the Worlds with Marty Pellow, and I'm sorry, he sings that better than he sung any of his wet, wet, wet stuff. But they have that
he still looks good
same.
for his age.
He still does look reasonable, yeah. They have that same thing where when you have likes of the Manny who's I've forgotten the name of the character. One of the other characters who's supposed to be at a distance, and the bit that Richard Burton does in the original recording
Yeah,
is 3D projected onto the stage.
nice.
So, and you've got him talking to the narrator, which is Marty Pellow. But the thing
That's
that I
cool.
like about that is they actually have the tripods on the stage. So it's impressive. If you get bored one day, look it up on YouTube. It's good.
I'll have a look after this actually. Have you done the Ford Theatre yet, Joe? You
Have
said
I
about
been there? I
no,
did a tour. Did a tour of it, and that was it. I couldn't get in and investigate or do anything. But you walk through and do the tour, and this is where he was. This is the booth that he sat in, and this is where Booth jumped off and broke his leg and did his thing. And then one day years ago, co-worker of mine, John Grant, and I were in the DC area. We went up to do some work at one of the FAA facilities, and we passed by this sign, and it said Dr. Mudhouse. And we both looked at each other and went, "Oh, Dr. Mudd, isn't that the guy that said John Wilkes Booth leg?" And John looks at me like, "Wow, you remember that? You know that story?" "Yeah, of course." So of course we had to go in, pulled in, spent a couple of hours walking around his house and things. But he's the guy. Apparently, he had met Booth a few years before. Just met him a few years before. And after Booth had killed Lincoln and he jumped off, broke his leg, he sort of headed off that way to get his leg set. Of course, Dr. Mudd didn't know anything about what had happened. He
Yeah.
wasn't one of the conspirators.
Yeah.
So he set Booth's leg and protected it and everything like that. And so then because he helped him, he was sent down to Jefferson Island, Fort Jefferson, down off the coast of Key West. And he stayed there for several years as a prisoner. So,
And
but
have you noticed, because Ian's not here, my weekly visitor hasn't bothered coming up to the camera. As soon as she hears Ian's voice, she comes straight up every time. But she's not heard Ian's voice. She's in the front room sulking at the moment.
Poor Ian. Can't,
Even the
I hope
cat
he's-
was only in for a minute or two, and she was straight back out.
Did they do so? Yeah, I think they did do seances in some theatres, didn't they? Yeah, during
In
the
And
night.
some,
earlier.
tend to be more the smaller provincial ones rather than the big. Yeah.
Right. But it was
I think-
also earlier than that because that was a big Victorian thing. And Victoria died in 1901? So it
Yeah,
was
I'm
carry over.
something in the back of my mind niggling that didn't the Fox sisters do a few theatres during their period? I'm sure they did.
Over there, definitely, but over here, probably not.
Right. I thought over in America.
Travel.
I thought they may have done over in America, but I'm not sure if they ever visited Europe or England.
I would presume not because of the expense, but I don't know.
But they were big. They were worldwide famous, weren't they?
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Margaret and Catherine.
yeah, all trumpets and explosives. Yeah, usually cheese. Was it cheesecloth they usually used to use? Was
Yeah.
stuffing cheesecloth up their nose and up their Jack and Danny's and anywhere that they could fit it. So yeah. Well,
Rochester, New York.
I think, to be honest, it's things like that why people like us that are really interested to the paranormal, and we do see stuff, and we do go and investigate or try and debunk or whatever. Why for so long until that certain TV program brought it more out into the mainstream why we would mock so much.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
back then, yes, it would have, people would have gone, oh my God, it is really a ghost. But then when
Mhm.
people worked out how it was done, it's,
Well,
oh yeah,
you said it yourself. Houdini was probably partially responsible for that
yeah.
because of how he got ripped off and then spent the rest of his life debunking them all.
Right.
But I don't know how true it is because unfortunately it wasn't in the program I watched about Houdini. But I have read in a book many years ago, the last few months of his life, suddenly he became a complete believer. Something happened that he never
Mhm.
told anyone about, but he just said something had happened. And towards the end, he was more of a believer.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that the password was given to his
Mhm.
wife. I'm curious as to what that was.
Yeah.
Um, Eileen's put that. As far as I know, it was never ever released what actually happened to him. I don't think he even
Yeah.
confided in his wife. Well, actually, maybe he did confide in his wife, and that's why he gave the password.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting. What, unfortunately, there's no way of finding out now. But
Yeah.
you know,
It's like there's a used to be a really famous psychic. You don't see so much of him now after some revelations about his live shows.
I
He
think
had
I
a
know what you
past
mean.
American, dark hair, still
Yeah,
alive.
yeah.
And he had a password with his mum, which was Winnie the Pooh.
Okay.
And
Houdini's
in his
wife's secret. Oh, sorry. Houdini's wife's secret code: Rosabelle, answer, tell, pray, answer.
Okay.
oh,
Something's got to cause him to suddenly. Because what was it? He had pancreatitis or something.
pancreatitis.
That was
Yeah.
it. And somebody, it was going to hit him in the stomach, and they'd done it too soon or something that killed him. He hadn't prepared, and that's what killed him. But some reason, I just vaguely remember hearing or
What
reading
was he
that.
seeing? Relatives and people that had already crossed over? Because I know that happened to my dad. Um,
Yeah, because they do say that sometimes coming up to the
Yes.
end that you
yeah,
see things.
because you could hear dad in there. I left on a Monday and he passed on a Friday. My other brother was there, with him at that time,
Mm,
and you could hear dad in there a lot of times talking to people, and there's
Yeah.
nobody in the room with him, but he was talking to Uncle Eddie and this person and that person, and he was talking to all of them, and they were chatting and carrying on very softly. Dad was
yeah,
really weak. He had all sorts of cancer running through him, so he was really weak. But he
bless
sat
him.
in there and he would have these conversations, and I know that they were talking to him, getting him ready to cross over. But we were waiting on my brother to get here from Korea. He was flying back so that he could see dad before he passed. And dad knew that he was on his way. So
Yeah.
they were doing this
Yeah.
thing.
Eileen's father-in-law saw people pass as he was in his final moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So,
know. I know a few folk that were like that, and
well,
like the
I've
one
said
of
to you
them really
before about
surprised
Janet.
me because she looked like she had already gone color wise,
Yeah.
and she got a visit from her granddad, who basically brought her up,
Mm,
and she was having a laugh and a giggle with him, and we're all sitting there going, okay, we'll
yeah.
just let this happen. But see, having that laugh and a giggle with him, all the color came back to her face, and then that was it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Get that
So,
Working,
last minute, get yourself ready and go.
yeah,
working in
that's it.
the working in the care industry for 26 years, especially when I was up in Norwich, when I was living up that way. Several times I'd had to sit with people as I was passing and that, and I'd always sat there and thought, I never did it out of respect, but I always wanted to sit there with an EVP recorder,
Yeah.
just so I could possibly get their messages and
It's
people saying, okay,
it's one of those things that I often think it's the kindest thing you can do in that profession is just sit with them, keep them company so they know it's okay when it's
Right.
their time. So
Yeah.
it's the
Like,
Exactly.
nicest thing you can do for
I
somebody.
said to you, there was an old gentleman that was passing away. He had the death rattle. His breath was almost gone, so I had to go and get the nurse who was on duty. I can't remember who it was. But
Exactly,
the nurse who was
Eileen.
on duty at home. And literally the last words he said to her was, "There ain't a chance of a blowjob before I go, is there?" So yes, in one of the care homes I worked at, they used to open up the windows.
Yeah.
And when it's the anniversary of my son's death, we have it's a church type of candle, but it's a green one. I've got, and we've carved like the people that have passed. That's in like the 13 years me and Heidi have been together. We carved people who passed, like her mum, her dad, her uncle, my mum, and things. We always light the candle for them on their anniversary. And then what I do, I'll light the candle, I'll say whatever I do to my son, then I open up the window and I'll blow the candle out and let the smoke go out the window.
Yeah.
Uh,
The old sympathetic magic.
Yeah. Stefan said, my mum only moved on after she gave me a message for everyone in the family that he had to deliver. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That, I've heard that thing so many. Basically, like when I was working in Norwich, there was a saying about people seeing people before they pass. There was an old guy, Jack Leathers. Unfortunately, his dementia was quite bad. It was a block of, I think, 36 rooms. I think it was, if I remember rightly. And the other residents walking, a lot of them used to just wander because of their dementia. But because of that, he thought it was teenagers walking around outside his house. So the language he used to come out with was, and he used to get really violent as well. But he was a smoker, and where I worked, unless you was up their manageress's arse, and you drank at her pub because she had shares in a pub and in some homes as well. Unless you was up her arse, you wouldn't get a fag break on a 14-hour shift. So I'd deliberately do a one-to-one with Jack so I could go and have a cigarette during the day. And he sat there, he went, "Do you know what, boy? I ain't going to make Christmas." I went, "Oh, Jack, you're going to outlive all of us, you too stubborn a bastard to die." And he went, "No, I ain't going to make Christmas." Midnight, Christmas Eve, he died.
Yeah.
And I've just literally felt my sister turn up. Sharon, you can piss off in my ears.
I'm actually waiting to see if I see it.
Yeah, see, I can feel it. And I've got goosebumps suddenly come up.
Yeah.
So the hair on my arms is standing up like crazy. What's this? What we got here? Oh, Perry. I didn't realise Perry was still here.
Yeah.
When my dad passed, the Marie Curie nurse opened the window. I must have looked a bit confused, but she explained why. Yeah, I think that's goes back quite a way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That sort of
Yeah, a
thing.
long time.
It became very popular again in Victorian days, but I think it's almost pre-Christian, I think.
Covering mirrors, stopping the clock.
Yep.
I think a lot of cultures as well that have used pyres and things like that throughout the years. They've
Right.
believed that smoke going up is because
Yeah.
it even says it in the book that air, and obviously we know air is what keeps us alive, but air apparently is the spirit wandering about.
Yeah.
I'm not going into arguments I've had with Christians of late. They don't like it when I disprove them, but
There's a couple of comments in here that I want to come back to when I prop up my computer and stop it falling off the back.
Mm.
I think it was Eileen.
The second time my now partner died for 5 minutes, her dad told her it wasn't a time. Wow, that's phenomenal.
I think it was Eileen's one that caught me. Yeah. our mum and dad came to her the night before their funerals.
Yeah.
My best mate did that. It wasn't the night before his funeral. It was the night before his wife phoned me and told me he'd died. I woke up. I was sleeping fitfully, as I always do. I have several conditions that mean if I sleep in the same position for more than half an hour, I can't move the following day. And I was very fitful. And I woke up with a jump and I sat bolt upright, and my pal was stood at the end of my bed, which was physically impossible because he'd moved to High Wycombe. Military movement, right?
That's like the other end of the country.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the RAF do to you. They send you from Lossy to High Wycombe. And
Yes.
I sat bolt upright, and he stood there at the end of the bed. And me being me, I'll rephrase it, and I won't say it as I said it.
We're past the watershed.
I turn around and says, "You'd better not have done what I think you've done, and make sure you apologise to your wife and the dog."
Mm.
And he smiled at me, waved, and faded out. 2:00 the following afternoon, I got a phone call from his number. And it was his wife telling me that she'd found him. He, serious PTSD, Gulf War syndrome, which officially doesn't exist, but flaming well does,
Yeah.
and multiple other things. And he took himself for a walk in the forest. And she only found him because she came home from work and the dog was breaking its neck for a pee. Let the dog out. The dog went straight to him. So, but yeah, you quite regularly, people that you're close to will regularly visit you just before, on the point of, or just after, because they're just checking on you to make
Yeah.
sure
Well,
you're okay.
we haven't wandered. We haven't wandered that far off this week.
No.
But there's been
Good show.
Stefan has made a lot of really good points tonight about like actors throwing themselves into a role. They do become, like I said, Heath Ledger did become the Joker. Christian Bale did become Batman. And yeah, I can see that, like what Stefan was saying, that it can quite easily put it up there because they've put so much of themselves into it. Stone Tape Theory might be one worth broaching at some point. But what are we doing next, guys?
Any ideas,
We're under
audience?
2 hours. We're under 2 hours at the minute.
Barely.
No.
We didn't bring up Drury Lane, unfortunately. Never mind.
I can close all these extra tabs I've got open, and my signal will improve.
I've only got the 4 open at the minute, so
I had 6 spare ones that were loaded with other stories from other places.
in fairness, I only brought my others open because I've now kind of got the hang of bringing up the images and putting them up here. And I still like doing this because it's a new toy for me. So thanks, Eileen. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe, people. So we're up to 101, so we're slowly getting there. But I'm still trying to get the hang of the video. Oh, Joe, you just said something in group, Joe.
Oh,
no, it's all right.
It's okay.
It's notes
Oh,
for
right, okay, yeah.
I'm just responding to a comment in our local group.
Yeah. I've just seen it. Yeah. Well, but no. Last one briefly, I wrote down Drury Lane. Apparently, it's the most haunted theatre in the whole of London. There's a man in a grey suit regularly seen by the side of the stage. He's seen in the audience on opening nights and closing nights, but nobody knows who he is. And apparently, there's a ghostly moggy.
Oh,
Uh,
not one of them.
My friend had the weird experience with her daughter last night. I think she's got 13 cats. I think she's got. She said, and two bunnies.
Jeez.
Legs. Oh, hang on. I think it's
Yeah,
just.
there's lots of people seeing the legs in Drury Lane. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and
I
of
did.
course
I,
it was on that other program as well.
yeah. We've got one here from Perry. You're most welcome, Perry.
Yeah,
Hopefully he subscribed. Well, he must be, or otherwise we'll be able to comment
Perry
anything about.
has subscribed.
Yeah, appreciate it very much. And we're getting then. This is our 12th live, I think.
Ooh.
So
12?
next week. Sorry, Joe.
Next week, yeah, next week's our lucky 13.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Ian should be here, I hope. That way
Oh,
the animals will visit.
it's just not the same without Ian here.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
We need that Bolton accent.
Oh, we do. We need
We've
that.
got like Scotland, and
I
then
can't do that one.
Northern England, then Southeast, and then
I can do
America.
a little
I mean,
bit that's almost Yorkshire, but it's not that much Yorkshire. And it's definitely not Manchester.
no.
Yeah, Perry's just said Perry and Gaz have subscribed.
Oh, excellent.
Nice.
But we're up to 101. Unfortunately, last week's one it froze at 81. Unfortunately, but these are the way they go. I'm still happy with the one we had. It was just short of 900 views, and I'm really happy with that.
Yeah.
So we're slowly We're slowly getting there. In theory, now we should only be 11 videos away from the magic 100. Apparently, you get noticed a bit more when you hit 100 videos as well. So, but it's been great as always. What are we going to do next week?
I don't know. Any ideas? Members in the gallery?
Was what I mentioned in chat earlier, possibly mental health and
Yeah, mental health, mediumistic, and
autism and the spirit world. They could be because that was weird. My friend was saying that she was sat there watching a film with her daughter. None of the cats were about at the time, and I think it was August her dad passed away. Bless him. And she said, obviously, now at least he's not in pain anymore, which is good. And her daughter said, "Yeah, I do this all the time." And she was, I think she said she couldn't say granddad, so she called him Gandad or something like that. I can't remember
yeah.
what she said. She was saying that, and it was like, "Can you shut the door?" And then suddenly, just the bedroom door shut.
Awesome.
And she said it didn't scare her, but she said it did make her tearful because obviously she's still healing herself because it's only been a few months since her dad passed. But as I said to her, that's fantastic knowing that he's still around for you.
Yeah.
That is
And it
absolutely
shows
lovely.
that he's okay, because if he wasn't okay, he wouldn't be able to come back and visit already.
Exactly. See, now I grew up in a spiritualist family, and I remember going to spiritualist churches from like the age of 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I was going to there, and I was always told when you go over, it's almost like you go into a hospital to heal, like the separation part, and then you move on and then do whatever. But the fact that just after a few months he's already able to communicate, that is just absolutely fantastic. That means when he went, he was really, he must have
He was
been
settled
so
and ready. Yeah.
So for her, that must have been absolutely fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think what Dainton would be this November? Dainton would be 17 if he'd lived, and in all that time, and I can't confirm it was him. It might have been my other son. Years before that had passed away. I just remember being asleep, dreaming of being sat on a wooden park bench, looking out to sea. A young boy sat down beside me. He looked at me, smiled, and we just sat there looking out to sea. Not a single word said. I don't know
Yeah.
which one of my kids that was. It might not have even been one of my children. It might have just been a spirit of a child that happened to be coming past.
Yeah.
And as a symbolic reader,
Hmm.
anywhere you see water in the tarot and spirit work, it represents your emotions.
Yeah,
So that is a very good sign to get from whichever one it came from.
yeah. But that is literally in 17 years for Dayton, 18 years for Kiona, and oh Christ, must be 28, 29 years for Jared. That is literally the only thing. Sharon's she's doing it bloody again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, goosebumps again. And my left ear being flicked. But yeah, literally that is the one and only thing that I've ever had. And like I said, I can't confirm that it was one of mine because where I lived in Leiston back in the 1800s or whatever it was, there had been a workhouse there, so it could have been one of the kids there.
Could have been any number of people in at that
Yeah.
point.
But
Just
I like to
to
think it
sympathise
was
what was going through your head and tried to make you
possibly.
feel better.
Stefan said, I always wondered if folk that come or were brought back from death have a stronger connection that stay with them. I can often tell just by looking at a person.
I think so.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I know for a
Um,
fact.
It
Having
it
done
well, yeah.
changes.
Yeah, Joe went through it with his heart attack, didn't he? His bypass.
my transplant, yeah, all of that
Yeah.
stuff. So yeah, I know the medium that used to be on my team. I've already told this story to
How
you
many
guys,
did you telling me this one? Yeah, it's good.
but the medium on our team, she followed me to the hospital since we worked together. She heard about my heart attack at work, and she followed us to the hospital. And she was
Mm.
sitting in a chair at the end of my bed while they were trying to keep me from like. I'd go into tachycardia and my heart would just start racing. So they'd paddle and paddle and paddle many times, 30, 35 times. I'd wake up and be doing stuff. And she would be down at the foot of my bed just smiling and laughing. So I'm
Mm.
intubated, of course. I can't say anything. So I look at her and what? And she says, every time that you cross over, you go over to the other side and you're screaming, help, send me back, send me back. I got to take care of my son. I got stuff to do. Send me back. And every time I'd go over there, she'd hear me yelling to send me back and I'd come back. Finally, everything settled down and they transferred me to the other hospital where there was better stuff going on. But
Mm.
yeah, definitely, you
You-
come back from that kind
Most
of stuff. There's much
See,
stronger connection.
most of
strange.
mine were too young for me to remember. I mean, I was clinically dead 4 times before my second birthday,
Mm.
and
Yeah, you had a lot of problems,
I've
didn't
added
you?
another 3 to it since.
Mm.
My most recent one, I was very disappointed when I realised. I was taken in. I had horrendous pain. I was as supple as a board of wood. I couldn't move, and I felt like my head was exploding. I was in so much pain. I'd actually ripped out half my hair and so on and so forth.
Mm.
Totally not with myself as I should be.
Mm.
And I'm in the emergency room. I'm hooked up to all the machines. They're filling me with morphine, pethidine, and everything else they can get their hands on.
Mm.
My pulse is sitting at 178 for 3.5 hours.
That's a little high.
The woman
Just
says to
slightly.
me, she says, I've no idea how you haven't had a heart attack. And I just went, and then she went off, and there was just me and my mum. And all of a sudden, everything stopped hurting.
Mm.
And I'm like, oh, yes, that's amazing. It stopped hurting. And I relaxed into it. And then I came to because my mom had gone in the middle
Oh
of my
Christ.
chest. All the alarms are going off. And of course, me being me, the first thing I said was, what the did you do that for? It stopped hurting. Yeah, it stopped hurting because you flatlined. But my
Mm.
huge disappointment was no tunnel, no grandma, great grandma, or anybody else.
Right.
You know what
Mm.
I saw? I saw the monitor that was behind my head facing the other way.
Mm.
And the
I
nurse
saw
is like,
nothing that I
"That's
remember.
impossible. It's facing the wrong way." And I'm like, "No, it is, because the numbers on the bottom left corner of the screen are ba ba da ba da ba da ba da ba da ba da."
Mm,
Cited them all off, and she went and looked, and she went, "That's impossible, but you're correct." I'm
mm.
like, "Told you."
Not
And
quite
Well,
I'm
impossible.
hoping for the angelic chorus, the white light,
yeah.
or at least the bouncer going, "What the hell are you doing here? Get back!"
The I can't think
I
how
don't
long.
remember anything. It was just complete darkness. And then
Yeah,
I'd wake up and see her sitting at the foot of my bed laughing. So
yeah.
that's all I remember.
My aunt, my adoptive aunt's uncle, husband, he must be about 10 years ago now. He had a heart attack and he was gone for 31 minutes, and then just suddenly out of nowhere he came back, and he said when he during that 31 minutes, absolutely nothing, no people around him, no bright lights, literally nothing. He
One
had
of
no memory or anything.
one of mine when I was still a babby. They had worked on me for 25 minutes. I'm like 6.5 months old.
Hmm.
They worked on me for 25 minutes. They gave up. Because I
Oh,
had been in that hospital for so long,
hmm.
they put me in an ante room next to the morgue. Basically, it's the identification room next to the morgue.
Yeah.
So the staff could come and say goodbye.
You see, he's not there. He's not there.
She's like, "I'm not looking at the screen because he's not
No,
there."
still no. Because Ian's not there. No, Joe's there. No, Joe's there. No,
And
no, he's putting their head on you.
put me in the side room for the staff to come and say goodbye. And
Hmm.
Mum's gotten the phone call. She's on her way to the hospital under police escort, blues and twos.
Hmm.
While one of the nurses was saying cheerio, she saw my thumb move. This is 45 minutes after they stopped working on me.
Hmm.
My mum turned up at the hospital expecting to find me as a corpse, and I'm sitting on the nurse's desk eating a nice lolly. Too stubborn.
Yeah.
As I said the other week, Linda, that's just being Scottish. Stubborn. You say hello?
But mind, I'm nae Scottish by birth. I'm Yorkshire by birth, Scottish
Yeah,
by
that's
choice.
true.
So
But she
between
does,
them
look,
two, I'm as
she literally
stubborn as they
goes,
come.
she keeps looking at the screen to see if Ian's there, and she keeps turning her head away when she can't see him.
What's her name again?
Bella.
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 You know you.
Ciao,
Bella.
Bella.
Oh, she weighs a ton. Oh,
Yeah.
look, say hello. Oh, say hello.
Hi, Bella.
You good girl. Well, she just cost me 18 quid for one flea tablet. Oh, and she's still bloody chewing herself. I went message Stefan. My partner said that the first time she died, she could see everything and everyone in the room. She felt she was everywhere in the room all at the same time. That'd
Yep,
go
I've
back that whole
heard
back to the
stories like
energy.
that all the time. But
Mm,
I've never had that happen to me. It was always now. I've been told also that I may not have been supposed to see anything, and that's why it's black. So
Yeah.
eventually,
Could that be a sign though that it's not your time?
oh, definitely, definitely, I'm here.
Yeah. It's like
You know,
your name's not down, you're not getting in, so you're
Yeah,
not getting to look through the window
yeah,
either.
I don't
yeah.
get to see anything because every time I just remember everything just going black, and then I'm back
Yeah.
like instant.
Switch
Is
on
that
and off.
So
my cat meowing?
Mine's
so
not in.
Oh, it's my one moaning then.
I don't
Yeah,
have one.
could it be that those that get that situation, it's not your time. Whereas if you saw it, you'd be so wanting to go. Do you know what? I don't want to go back.
Yeah.
This looks lovely.
You hear that from a lot of
But
them that do come back.
you're needed to go back,
Yeah.
possibly. So, but anyway, next week, what we're going to do?
Nobody's come up with suggestions for us.
I'm surprised Perry
Yeah.
hasn't. He usually does. We've done a couple of videos that Perry suggested
Yeah.
actually. I think Battlefields was Perry's idea.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Yeah.
it's my cat. Apologies. We could go. We could broach one of the topics we've done again and go back into that a bit more, like possibly the cryptids, or
Yeah, we could go back and do a round 2 of cryptids, easy enough.
we could do a round 2 of reincarnation, or as I was saying about possibly things like autism and the paranormal, mental health and the paranormal. There's so many different aspects we could.
Yeah.
I'm easy either way. I don't mind either way. I just enjoy changing. I love sitting and listening to the things that you've done over the years and learning new things. You know, because you keep seeing these things. Oh, I'm a paranormal expert. I'm sorry, but you're not a paranormal expert. There's no such thing.
You're only a
Yeah,
paranormal expert once you are paranormal.
Yeah,
that's right. How
And
about,
then you've got to find somebody that can hear you so you can
how
tell
about,
them.
how about paranormal experienced?
Yes, that's more
you're
like
very welcome, Cole. If you're live on TikTok later, Cole, I'll pop in. So he's worth watching. I know Linda doesn't use TikTok, but I'm just wondering if we should do at least one. Mind you, Ian doesn't want TikTok, does he?
no.
So I'm wondering if one of the weeks when poor old Ian's got to do traipsing halfway around the world to do his job, if we just do the one-off on TikTok, see how that goes. I'm just curious because
Sure, why not?
I still can't judge because I know you're on TikTok, so I've seen you click on a couple of things.
Yep.
Here's another potential topic.
Oh yeah,
Oh, there you go. Perry said UAPs. What I was thinking
we've
was the
already
whole.
done UAP, Perry. We can't do it without Ian because you know how much Ian
Yeah,
loves
you
shrimp
need you
bones.
need
Yeah, you
Ian.
got to have Ian. That's his
I
favorite
was
subject.
thinking something along the lines of stone tape uh, recording into buildings, recorded into an area, the residual hauntings and stone tape theory
Mm.
as a possibility
Mm.
for
Yeah.
to be added onto the list of potentials.
Mm.
So, because that's an odd thing that you can measure the energy in a bit of stone.
Yeah. Oh, well,
So,
let me quickly bring up the YouTubes.
yeah, do Perry. There's a few interesting ones on there.
The more interesting ones are the ones I'm not in, but I'm just happy being the eye candy. That'll do me. I've
I'll
taken
get
your
you a
job, Joe.
shotgun night. I'll come in with my makeup done and my hair done and my contacts on. It'll scare the hell out of you.
Actually, the battlefield has gone up by four today. So,
Oh,
um,
fantastic.
oh, here we go. I don't know if I'm going to try sharing a link here for Perry. Whether this will actually work or not, I have not got the faintest idea, so I'll give it a try. But oh shit, I can't remember what topic it was he said.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
it's definitely
reincarnation, wasn't
fantastic. I've just heard it.
See you later, Eileen.
it? There we go. See you later, Arlene. There we go. I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can click on that or not, Perry.
If not, you can
But
copy
that
and
is
paste.
how I did just copy and paste it, but on my side I can't click on it. It
No,
just
but
brings up
he
the
can copy and
Yeah, but
paste
you
it.
can copy and paste. Yeah.
yeah. You should be able to, yeah. There we
Night,
go.
Eileen.
Oh, my. There we go. So, and Perry said that. Right, guys, it's been fantastic. We haven't exactly settled on a topic for next week, but we can talk about that in the chat and leave it as a
Oh, we
surprise
can
for
get
people.
everybody to put a suggestion in the comments
Sure.
and take a tally
Well,
up.
you're both admins. You could always just chuck a poll up on. Oh, actually, I could put it on YouTube as well. You could always chuck a poll up in Paranormal Angle if you wanted to. Says there is a bust in Leafhold that is a perfect example for the stone tape theory. Oh, yes, that is my cat.
Definitely.
Bloody animal.
To those who don't speak cat, most cats just go meow. His cat's going, I want to get laid. I want to get laid.
When I try that noise, it don't work for me, so it's not going to work for him. So,
Excuse
there I
me.
go.
Are you okay, Linda?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I think Linda's just pissed the chair, but never mind. No,
I'm not that old yet.
What was that? Perry? Oh no, it was Stefan said it. There's a busting Leaf
Aye.
Hall. There's a perfect
Leaf
example.
Hall's up by me.
Stone Tape
Well,
Theory.
sorry.
I'll look
In
into
what-
that.
In
It's
what
Leaf
way
Hall.
is it an example Stone Tape Theory?
I don't
You know?
Leith Hall's by Huntley.
Oh,
Ish.
next week. In what way is it a perfect example? Surely Stone Tape is a residual. Is it a haunted bust or?
Or is it just a block of stone that gives off a massive energy field when you
Yeah,
go with
that's
a
what I'm wondering.
pendulum?
That's what I'm wondering.
Because any granite or marble will give off a massive energy field with a pendulum
Yeah.
reading.
And
Yeah.
limestone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anything with the crystals
Braunstone
in
as
it.
well. Braunstone as well gives off a lot of energy. There are a lot. So
Well, anything with silica, quartz, and iron in it will do it. Because that's
Yeah,
what we
yeah,
make
exactly.
CDs and
Yeah.
cassettes out of.
yeah, exactly. No, I'm not too sure. We can discuss it more in chat what we can do next week.
Yeah.
Obviously, because hopefully Ian won't be working, so and it's a majority thing. So it's like we need all four of us to choose. I'm really wondering if autism and the paranormal would be worth.
That might be a good subject. We'll bring it up to Ian when
Or
we
you-
talk to him next.
Yeah,
Yeah, or even as I broadened it and just went brain issues
yeah,
and
yeah,
paranormal. So it could be depression, it could be autism, even Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah. You know, it's like these people they say have got schizophrenia because they're talking to them. Are they though?
yeah, that's
No.
it.
Robert, yeah. It's a
Come on then, if you're
busted
coming
mother
in.
of one of the ladies of Leaf Hall.
I think my cat heard your cat because she's just come in. Are you coming in? Oh no, you brought me a mouse.
Oh, lovely.
It's still alive.
It's still oh, lovely. Freddie, shut up. You're not going out.
Present, darling, but I don't need him. Yay!
Oh.
Success! Say hello to my little
Hello,
friend.
little friend. Oh, we're still alive.
Yeah, she always brings them home alive.
Oh, that's a cutie, that is.
You
Oh,
want to
bless
see him?
her.
Come on and see him. I'm not putting him on the floor for you to eat him. But you can say hello to him.
No, you don't want a cat to eat you. You've got enough ghosts in your house.
No. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, bless him.
So it is only a little one, and now it's
You know,
not so stunned, it's trying to escape, so I'm gonna have to put him outside.
Yeah, the second you let that out, she's going to go back after it again.
Yeah, I'm gonna close the windows before I put it back out.
What
I'm
I'll
just
do,
checking to see if he's mortally wounded, and he doesn't seem to be. He's just scared.
I'll look back on that because there was when Joe walked off earlier to get his drink or whatever he was doing. There was because I asked if you'd spoken to your son.
No. This time when I got up, I heard a lot of banging around going downstairs in the kitchen. And I got up and went down there. There's no lights on, there's nothing, and Elliot's asleep. So I just thought I would check it because I had a feeling he was already asleep.
Yeah.
Have we woken someone up?
No, it happens every once in
Someone
a while.
without a pulse?
So the other
Yeah.
week we had somebody talking at Linda's, and tonight we possibly had someone at yours.
Yeah. Be interesting to see what it
Sounds
says.
like it's English. But what I'll do, I'll have a look at it. I'll I'll download it. I'll go to the area of the video. I'll cut it out and I'll pull the audio out and I'll try. It might have just been my hearing. It could have possibly been a weird noise that my cat was making in the other room.
Could have been. Could have been.
It may not be enough. That'd be pretty cool if it is another EVP though.
Yeah, that would be. Well, and then having all the noise downstairs just a little bit ago, that I'm like, it's like wasn't quite pots banging, but like when the window downstairs banging open and shut. In the kitchen. We got great big opening windows like that, and it just sounded banging. And I went, all the lights are off, nothing's open. It's no reason for it. So,
Well, you never know. Then you might get a bit of excitement tonight.
maybe.
So you never know. But no, it's been fantastic, guys. We'll wait for Linda to come back after getting rid of that poor
she's
little
shutting
mouth.
the windows so she can't go and catch him again because he's sitting on the windowsill shaking.
Oh, poor thing's terrified.
He's
It'll probably
terrified. He's only a baby. He's tiny.
probably be
So-
dead by the morning anyway from fear. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, we'll have a discussion about it in chat. And obviously, like because Ian's a part of this as well, so we can't just like go, "Oh, this is going to be it," and not let him have a say. So, but no, tonight's been absolutely fantastic. The interactions with people have been brilliant. We had 6
Yeah.
watching time. I think it went up to about 8 at one point. So
I was about to say I saw it at an 8 and 7 regularly.
we are starting to get more people watching us, but
Yeah.
it's not bad going. 12 weeks. We're starting to get soon. Anyway,
Yeah.
guys, fantastic. I'm going to go cook my curry because at least now the live's finished. I can fart as much as I want. No, I've been wanting a curry all day. I did treat myself to a Chinese yesterday, and I shouldn't have done because that was more money than I can afford. But I thought, sod it, I'll treat myself. But yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll
Sounds
see
good.
you all next week.
Thanks everybody for
Bye, guys.
coming in.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
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 Oh, there we go off.
I've lost the button.
There we go.